On Guide for Them, our sister here is saying, don't come to Ghana and marry to a Ghanaian man if you know you can't submit yourself into strict authorities. Stay tuned, watch the video, the end is the best. But I want to remind you that your support is a driving force for more updates and more guide for you. Please do not forget to like, share, and comment. Your comment is very important. Thank you very much. This is Guide for Them. We guide you for your daily life. Thank you.
I want to give you the reality. If this word triggers you, submit. Please don't do it. Just don't come and marry a Ghanaian man. If you don't like the word submit, just don't do it. Now, hey guys, welcome back. All right, so today's video, I'm just gonna get straight to the point. This is probably a video some of you are not gonna like, but the truth is still the truth, still needs to be told and all of that good stuff. And also, it's not about even throwing shade. It's really about giving you the education you need before you jump into something that you really have no idea about. So today we're gonna talk about predominantly Black Americans coming to Ghana to find themselves a Ghanaian man. They want to get married to this Ghanaian prince, this Ghanaian king. I want to give you the realities of what that really means and how it's going to impact you, because I feel like some of you, not all of you, some of you haven't really understood the assignment when it comes to that. I mean, if we're looking at aesthetics, I can understand the appeal, like, man, because sometimes, you look at these Ghanaian men and they're like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, right? And so I get it, and I guess coming from the West, the way that Africans have been portrayed is that, the men are very, they're men, they're manly men. Do you know what I'm saying? They have strength, they have really good qualities about them. And that is definitely true. But if you want those kind of qualities in a man, you have to be able to also line up and adjust to some of those things that are the man's principle. So for example, like when you get married to a Ghanaian man, you don't just marry him, you marry his whole family. Because he's going to be connected to his family. Like, are you ready for that? Because for us in the West, it's two individuals that get married. And so whatever happens in the marriage is between the two individuals. But when you get married in the African culture, I'm going to say Ghana because that's mostly where my experience comes from. When you get married in Ghana, you're marrying two families. So therefore, everything that happens, the family is pretty much part of what is going on. They might even be part of some decisions. You'll be surprised. Like, it runs deep. Like, are you ready for those things? So yes, getting yourself a Ghanaian man, strong, muscly, leadership skills, all of those qualities that, really, especially the stature. We like the stature. All of those things. Yes, they're wonderful, but you have to be able to handle what comes with that. So like I said, it's a marriage between two families and not just two individual people. His family is going to have an influence in some of the things, the decisions that are made in your family, because that's just how it works. If you want a man, there's something about Ghanaian men that you need to understand, right? So I'm taking my time to talk here because it's very difficult doing this video, right? If this word triggers you, submit. Please don't do it. Just don't come and marry a Ghanaian man. If you don't like the word submit, just don't do it. Now, submit, I know it does trigger a lot of people because they feel like it's a dominance over the woman. They don't, it triggers some people. And sometimes, for things that have happened in the past, and rightfully so. But you marry a Ghanaian man, like a proper Ghanaian man, you're going to have to learn to submit. You're going to have levels of respect. And you should have respect for your man anyway. That goes without saying. But there are going to be there are going to be things that you can no longer do. You can't backchat, especially outside in the street. You can't do certain things. There are certain things that have to be done the right way. And for some people, I know that you would struggle with that. If you know yourself, you know your background, you know the kind of mouth that you have. Yeah, she said it. You know the kind of mouth that you have. If you are not willing to do that work where you can control yourself, do not get into that relationship. I have seen people come here, come get their African man. Sometimes it works because that person is willing to adjust and make sacrifices. And sometimes it just doesn't. It falls apart. Are you going to be okay if he says one day, this may not even be a conversation that you've had up front, he says one day he wants to get a second wife? How are you going to feel about that? These are some of the things that, if you're even in a relationship with an African man here, you may need to talk about up front. And even if you talk about it up front, there's still a chance that that could change during your marriage. Just depends. Sometimes it depends on your behavior. Yeah, I said it. Your behavior, the way you act towards him, he may feel like, nah, this woman is not respectful. I'm going to go and get myself another wife. And it's a well-known fact. Let's just be honest. Let's just say it as it is. Since we're in the middle of this, let's say it as it is. Ghanaian men can also cheat. They do. They can cheat. And it's not even like, it's not even like, it's going to be like this taboo thing. Like you go tell his family it's this taboo thing. No, it ain't taboo. It ain't like, yeah, he has like a side chick. Yeah, okay. They will just tell you that, well, his grandmother, it happened to his grandmother, his mother, yeah, it's part of the culture. And I'm not saying that it is that for everybody. I'm not saying every Ghanaian man cheats, because it doesn't. Because we can categorize this across the board. We can say all men have the ability to cheat or whatever. It's not about that. But I'm just speaking about Ghanaian men because this is what this video is about. Ghanaian men do cheat. They have side chicks. They can even tell you, if you got on a date with them, they can even upfront tell you, yes, I'm married. But they still want to date you. And it's not going to be like shock horror. It's now about your principles. Would you date a married man? He might be dating you just because he wants to date you. He might be dating because he wants you to be his second wife. Like, how open are you to these things? These are the realities of coming here and getting an African man. And if you think you're going to use that to go tell his family that, oh, he's been dating someone else, he's been doing this with somebody else, like, okay. You know, I'm going to tell you a story. Okay, so in my divorce process, I went to the court and I was saying that, and the judge was asking me, so what's the reason for you wanting to, like, why, do you want to separate? And, he just wants to understand the case. And so I said, there was an element of cheating that was going on and stuff like that. And then he almost started laughing and he was like, this thing that our grandmothers, our mothers went through, I mean, why? Like for him, it was just, this is nothing. And that is the kind of response that you're going to be met with if that is what your complaint is going to be. So if that's what your complaint is going to be in the marriage, it doesn't matter. And also you have to understand, if you're coming here and you've done a traditional marriage, he can have other wives. He can have other things, because it's different doing a traditional marriage and doing a white wedding marriage. Whereas a white wedding marriage will tell you that it's one man, one woman. So you can take him to court if you did a white wedding. You can't take him to court and say it's adultery if you did a traditional marriage. They are two different things. They work very differently. So you have to understand the culture behind getting married to a Ghanaian man as well. You have to understand what you're doing. And that's the reason why some Ghanaian men will not do the white wedding. They will do traditional with you all day long, but they will not do the white wedding because they know the consequences of doing the white wedding. So you have to come with your understanding as well. Like, okay, so I don't want to just focus it on the men. Also, the men that are coming here that want to marry Ghanaian women, okay, because it's only fair. Are you ready to do dowry? Are you ready to do pay dowry? Now, dowry it's over. Are you okay with that? Like, look at it for what it is. And I'm not saying don't marry a Ghanaian man, because you know what? Anyway, my man is Ghanaian, but so I can't really say much. But you have to really understand what you're getting into. Don't come here, get a Ghanaian man, and 6 months, 1 year, you marry him, and it's not quite what you expected. Like, really understands the person. And another thing, I'm going to say this. Let me just be really comfortable here. You come here, you get a Ghanaian man. At some point, he may want a green card from you. And that doesn't mean that he's even scamming you. This is like love scam or whatever. It doesn't mean that. He may want to go and get some opportunities in the West. Are you cool with that? Think about it that way as well. Are you going to be cool with him having that conversation? Because I feel like sometimes people get married and it's like, okay, we can be married, but I don't want to talk about this green card thing because I don't want to give you that, or there's restrictions in the marriage because, unless I trust you after 10 years, then maybe, yeah, we can talk about, I'm going to take you back to the US or whatever. That's not nice. Like, if you're coming to marry somebody and perhaps that's what he wants and you know that he's safe, I think that's a conversation that you should have. I don't think that it is necessarily always a green card scam or a love scam, marriage scam, whatever you want to call it. I don't necessarily believe that it's always that. Sometimes it is that the person feels that they can better themselves abroad more so than, the opportunities that Ghana could be giving them here. And so I feel like that conversation should be open. And if you really believe in this person, you believe in your marriage and your relationship, it shouldn't be a problem having a conversation around that. And that goes men, women, whatever. That conversation should be open. You have to understand as well when it comes to, his family, your family, whether it's the man or the woman in Ghana, the influence from family is incredibly strong. Very, very, very. I can tell you nothing stays private, pretty much. Nothing stays private. If you think that you guys have an argument and it stays between the two of you, pretty much most of the time it's not. Pretty much most of the time, his family or his mother or his father is going to know what happened. And sometimes they could judge you for it. Sometimes, but I want to balance this by saying that sometimes the elders do give good wisdom and sometimes they can help, because sometimes they will give another perspective on things, or they will say to the son or the daughter, look, this is your wife, go work it out. It does bring good things as well. But what I want you to understand from this video is that there are challenges because it is different to you. You're not used to it. Even for me, if I marry a Ghanaian man from here who doesn't have a full grasp of what the West is like, I would still have to learn some things within that marriage. So let alone someone who's come from the West that really has no concept of what the Ghanaian culture entails. You marry a man like that, you have to be a fast learner, you have to be adaptable, you have to be able to make it work. Because a lot of these marriages, sometimes they fall apart for various different reasons, because you're not fully prepared, or your tolerance has run out. Or perhaps you just don't want what you thought you wanted, you don't want. And sometimes it's better for you to admit where you're at before you come and do that, because no one wants to see somebody get married and then come here and you get divorced, because the reality of what it is to be married to a Ghanaian man or a Ghanaian woman you can't take. I'm just telling you this so that you're prepared when you come here. Yes, the marriage is beautiful. Yes, it's not often that a Ghanaian man would ask for a divorce. It's really